Hello guys, welcome to V.O.W. Voices of Women 2019. Today we're going to get straight to it. Today we're going to be talking about a little young girl by the name of Maleah Davis. Maleah Davis is the little girl who was left with her stepfather while her mother went out of state to attend her father's funeral. While her mother was away, apparently the stepfather claimed that little Maleah was abducted by three Mexican men. The story broke on May 6th. That is when they placed an Amber Alert for little Maleah Davis. Apparently, the father claimed that he heard a loud pop and he pulled over on the side of the road, and that is when three Mexican guys in a blue truck approached him. When I first heard the story, it sounded suspicious to me. And I had posted on May 6th, not too sure how I feel about this story. It sounds suspicious. If I'm wrong, God, please forgive me. It just didn't sit right in my spirit. I really felt like, something was wrong. I didn't feel like he was telling the truth. As you guys know, nowadays, there's so much going on with our young kids being molested, abused, and so forth. And I remember something that my father told me, a while back. He told me that 99% of young kids are molested by men in the home. And I'm kind of feeling like that's true. Maybe not that high of a percentage, but there's a large amount of our population um, of young youth who are being molested by these kids, by these, some of these men. And I find that very disturbing, and for little young Maleah, she basically, they reported her missing, and that was on May 6th, okay? So I'm going to share this video with you so you guys just take a look, because I know some of you probably have not even heard about this as of yet, but here goes, okay? I'm going to share it with you, so just give it a moment to load. But it is very disturbing to me. Um, it's sad. She was only 4 years old. As you can see here, here's the Amber, the missing report here. Okay. Um, we basically have to be careful with who we leave our kids around. We have to be careful with who we let around our kids. Okay, here we go, guys. Okay, this is a little commercial, so I'm going to skip that in just a moment. We're going to go ahead and skip that. All right, here we go. Okay, guys, so that was the first day of when that story had broke. And, I found it very, very disturbing. I mean, it just, like I said, it didn't sit right in my spirit. And I just really felt some type of way about it. For you guys who don't know, I basically talk about different types of abuse because I have experienced different types of abuse in my life. I've been molested. I've been in domestic violence relationships. My daughter has been molested. And so my goal is to empower women to get out of domestic violence situations or abusive relationships as quick as possible before it's too late. As you may know, right now, today, we are losing a lot of women to domestic violence. Over the past month or two, we've lost, a few women here, right here in ATL. There was one family that we lost, a mother and her 16-year-old, and she was 8 months pregnant. Her boyfriend murdered her and her baby and 16-year-old, and then he turned the gun on himself. There was also another young, beautiful woman who was also taken by the hands of her boyfriend. He basically lured her to the bank, and she thought he was going to give her money, and he shot her and killed her right there in the parking lot. There was just recently, there's a story. I just passed it, I think. I shared it on my Facebook page. For those of you who are not connected with my Facebook page, please go to V.O.W, Voices of Women 2019, and please join. Like my page. I have a group also. Please join that group because I share a lot of different abusive stories. And we need to raise the awareness of abuse because it is serious, okay? It is serious. These things are happening at an alarming rate. Right here, this is a man, and he looks very familiar. I used to live in Orlando, Florida, and this is where this story took place. The man lured his ex-girlfriend and he killed her near Metro West. We lived right up the street from Metro West. It's like we were on one side of the highway and Metro West was on the other side. So apparently he lured her there and he murdered her. So, you know, it's sad because we have so many women who are losing their lives, from being in abusive relationships, and some of them have even gotten out of the relationships and have still lost their lives because they continued to see that person or be around that person. Once you get out of an abusive relationship, please don't go back. Okay, you want to make sure that you are protecting yourself because you never know what's going through that person's mind, what's going through their heart. So please stay away, keep your distance. Okay, so that's really important. Now I wanted to share, if you notice in that video, the stepfather, his forehead looked kind of scarred up. Here it is right here. You see where his forehead looks scarred, and he's looking all crazy and everything. When I looked at that picture, I said, you know what? That picture right there says it all. It's written all over his face. He is guilty. He is guilty. And so, I was saying that he would have been the first person that I investigated because she was supposed to be with him, and then all of a sudden he's claiming that she was abducted by 3 Mexican men, but yet the 2-year-old or the 1-year-old was still with him while he was unconscious. That story just did not add up. And so what even disturbed me more, now this story here is when this was on May 7th. They were saying that the stepfather of the missing 4-year-old Maleah Davis, now person of interest in the disappearance. I don't believe anybody believed his story. I don't believe anybody believed his story. From all the comments that I've been reading on social media, everybody's like, no, he has something to do with it. And what came to my mind was, what? He was probably molesting her. And here's the worst part of it all, guys. Little Maleah had been abused before. She had suffered a head injury so severe to where she had to have brain surgery. They had removed her out of the home, but for whatever reason, they placed her back in the home. And so that right there was kind of confusing to me. If you have evidence that that child was abused and she has the physical bruises to prove it, why would you place her back in the home where the danger is? That's what I could not understand. So she was placed back, and here, ladies, is what really disturbed me, okay? I cried. I really cried. This broke me down so bad because I've experienced abuse. My daughter experienced it, and this made me have a meltdown. I literally had a meltdown. So, guys, I want to share this with you, and I want you to listen to it, okay? So, here we go.
Good afternoon to everyone. Let us first start by saying we want to thank the city of Houston and thank the whole country who has been praying for young Maleah and praying for the safe return. There are some things that we want to share with you now that have not come up about your story that has to come up. One, we want to share with you that there is a video camera at the top of the stairway by one of their neighbors. And on that video camera, we'll show it to you. It captures the stepdad coming out of the apartment with a bottle of Clorox, a laundry basket, and inside the laundry basket, a garbage bag. And when he spoke to the mother, he told her he was cleaning up the apartment, and she didn't understand why he would be cleaning up the apartment. But he went and bought an extra bottle of Clorox and came back also, that was caught on camera, buying another bottle of Clorox to clean out the apartment. Secondly, we also want to share with you that on the day that Brittany left to go to be with her sick father, a dying father, to be with family, there was a huge fight between her and him. And that fight was about she had caught him sending naked penis pictures to another man, and she confronted him about being gay. He was hurt, he was angry, he was upset that she had discovered these pictures of him sending penis shots to another man. And he kept trying to get her to call him back. He kept trying to get her to respond. And she would not respond. She told him that she was giving back his ring and that she was not going to marry him. And I believe that caused him to snap in anger against young Maleah. Something else we want to share with you. The mother had heated words with him in the past about him physically whooping and spanking young Maleah. That the mother felt she was too small for him to use, or for him to spank her in the method in which he was spanking young Maleah. This was a very small, fragile child, a very young baby, and she was a special needs child. And she confronted him about bruises on Maleah. And she said, "I'm taking my baby to the hospital." He told her, "No, you're not. That I'm not going down for this." The mistake she made at that point was not going to the hospital immediately about the abuse.
When did that happen?
This was months ago. Also, there were times where he would say she was at daycare, but he would bring her back, not drop off at daycare, but bring the child back here to the home with him. There's reason to believe, based on what I know now, that there's issues of him possibly molesting young Maleah, the stepdad.
This is crazy.
Because he would sneak that child home and bring him back here and not tell the mother. She also confronted him about bathing Maleah. He would bathe Maleah, which was inappropriate. That's not his daughter. That's not his child. There was no need for him to be bathing her. There's a lot that the mother needs to share with law enforcement that she has not shared with law enforcement.
Come on now.
Why did she keep these facts a secret?
when it was so critical to the investigation.
That's right.
The mother did not want to believe by any stretch of the imagination
That's no
that
excuse.
this man was capable of what is obvious that is taking place here. This is a good woman. She has suffered a lot of abuse in her life. Let me be very crystal clear with you. This mother has suffered a lot of abuse in her life. But there are some key things that will help investigators in this case by mom coming forward and sharing with them the things that mom has shared with me. So let me go over some of it one more time. There was a video camera at the top of the stairwell that a neighbor owns. Police were able to recover the footage of that video. In that video, it shows the stepdad after the mother had left the city. It shows the stepdad coming out while walking back into the apartment complex with a big bottle of Clorox that he had just bought. Then it shows him coming out with a bottle of Clorox, a big laundry bag, and a black garbage bag stuffed inside the laundry container that he was carrying out of the home. It was strange. He told the mother he was cleaning the house with Clorox, for there was no reason for him to be cleaning the house with Clorox. They already had a small thing of Clorox in the house, but he felt it was necessary to clean the house with Clorox. We know for a fact that police did take forensic evidence of the apartment that indicates a crime took place inside that apartment.
Do you know the nature of that evidence?
I know that they tested for blood samples, human tissue samples. We also have a container inside the apartment that they left where they were testing for blood and doing all of this. And it is true that they did find physical evidence. Also, let me be clear. We believe what started this was when the mother discovered him sending
Okay, guys. So that's the end of that video there. I wanted to share that story with you guys. That right there just took me out, okay? That took me out. I could not understand it for the life of me. If she knew that those things were taking place, why would she leave her child with this man? That was very disturbing to me. That was because listen, we as mothers and as parents, we have a responsibility, and that responsibility is to protect our children. We have to protect our children. You as a parent should never place your child in harm's way on purpose. On purpose. Now, if you didn't know, that's one thing. But when you know that these things are taking place and then you purposely keep it hidden from law enforcement or from whomever needs to know about it, then you're just as guilty as the person committing the crime. Little Maleah Davis did not deserve this. She was only 4 years old. She was 4 years old and could not defend herself. And she did not have anyone to defend her. Can you imagine what she must have gone through while her mother was away? And not to mention, you're talking about you believe that this man was molesting your daughter. Now, if you thought that, then why would you leave your child in his care? He should have been locked up. He should have been locked up immediately. That baby should have been tested as soon as you felt that suspicion. And if the results came back positive that she had been messed with, that mother should have pressed charges. And as you can see from the comments over here, everybody basically felt that she was just as guilty as the stepfather. And I agree. I'm sorry, I agree. Because there's no way in the world that you know that this man is abusing your child and you're gonna leave your child with this man. That's insane. And it's unfair. It's unfair to little Maleah Davis. It's unfair. Guys, we have got to use common sense. We really have. And if you're in an abusive situation and that person, as soon as you see one sign, that's your sign to get up out of that situation. We have to stop prolonging or procrastinating when we're in an abusive relationship. We need to get out of that situation immediately, because you're not the only one that's being impacted. So are your kids. My father said something that was very true. He said, if you're in an abusive relationship and you're staying in that situation and you have kids, that's abuse. That is abuse. Because you know why? At some point or another, somebody ends up getting hurt. And sometimes it's the children. So, guys, we got to start being, using some common sense. It's not that much love in the world. That's one of the traits of an abuser. They will tell you sorry over and over and over. They will tell you sorry, and yet there's no change behavior. There's no change behavior. They're continuously doing the same things. It's like a cycle. They tell you sorry, and then they get you back on their good side, and then they do the same thing over and over and over. Guys, it's you know what, that's it. We got to stop. We have to stop feeling sympathy for these abusers, because that's basically what it boils down to. You start feeling sorry for them. And then you start thinking, oh, well, they have an issue, they have a problem, and they need help. Let them get the help that they need. But you get out the situation in the meantime. Guys, we have to come together as women. We have to motivate each other. We have to encourage and uplift each other. There's so many women out here right now going through abuse, and they don't know how to get out the situation, or they feel stuck. So, guys, let's come together as women and support each other. Okay, I want you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's V.O.W. Voices of Women 2019. Also join my Facebook page. Let me go back here. Hold on just a second. Okay, that was that story. Okay, so here's the latest story here. Well, it's not the latest one, but he was arrested on May 11th, I want to say. They took him into custody because apparently they found the car. They found the car that someone had dropped off, because according to the police, the video camera showed someone dropping him off at the hospital with the same car that he claimed was stolen by the three Mexican guys. That was all a lie. So they also found a video camera from the neighbor's home, a video camera which you've already heard in the prior video. He was coming out the apartment with the laundry basket. The laundry basket had a large trash bag in. According to one of the officers or one of the detectives, they say that the object looked heavy enough, and they could tell by the way that he was walking. So they do believe that young Maleah was in that laundry basket, in that trash bag inside of the laundry basket. They did have cadaver dogs who had smelled like a a corpse or whatnot in the back of the trunk. But they didn't find anything back there. So, now the key is finding little Maleah. They do not believe that she's alive at this point. My heart again goes out to the family. It's really sad. It's a very sad story. But in my opinion, I do believe that this could have been avoided. This really could have been avoided because once he abused her one time, that would have been it. He should have been behind bars. I mean, her head injury again was so severe. She had to have brain surgery. She had to have brain surgery. So, that really disturbed me. And he did go to court, and they set his bond at $1 million. That right there kind of threw me for a loop. Yeah, it's $1 million, but what if someone was able to get him out? I felt like this stepfather should have had he shouldn't have had a bond at all. He shouldn't have had a bond at all. He shouldn't have had a bond at all. He doesn't deserve to get out. He knows what he's done. Look at him. He know he messed up. Look at his face. He looks crazy right here. He looks crazy. But it was the mom's responsibility to remove her daughter out of that situation. Instead, she chose to keep her daughter in that situation, and then as a result, this is what happened. Right now, there's a group. They've been searching for her. Let me see. Here's a video here. That was on Sunday. I want to say that was Sunday, but they also did a live search on Saturday. Let me see if I have that video. I don't have that video here. Thought I did, but they did do a live search for her on Saturday. They spent some hours out looking for her. They did come across like a bag. However, it was a false alarm. It was just a animal in the bag. Why someone would put a dog in the bag, I do not know. But they did say that it was a dog. I was screaming, listen, call the cops. Call the cops. Because one thing that you do not want to do is contaminate the evidence. Because if that evidence get contaminated, he can go free. So, I'm hoping the guy that, whomever is volunteering, I'm hoping that they will use precaution and make sure that, that they are using proper methods and not contaminating any evidence or whatnot. So, again, guys, this story is very disturbing. Please make sure you are protecting your kids. Make sure they are safe. If a lot of times, as mothers, we do what we have to do. But if it means putting your child in harm's way, don't do it. Don't do that. You have to find another way. There's always more than one way to skin the cat. If you have to work, and you don't have a babysitter, honey, don't go to work I'm sorry, don't go to work unless you have someone that you can trust to watch your child. Okay? Now, what I would recommend, nowadays we have jobs where you can remotely work from home. I myself, I own my own company, and you work from home. It's a virtual call center. And so therefore, you would just, you work from home, you make your own schedule, you don't have to answer to anyone. You just have to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do. Because of course the client does have requirements. You do have to meet those requirements. But if that's the case, to where if you don't, again, if you don't have anyone to watch your child, then work from home. It's better than leaving your child with somebody who's unsavory. I mean, we have to be careful, guys. I mean, it's just so much going on out here in this world. I have heard so many stories of kids being molested. I mean, you can't even send your child to school because they're being molested there too. So come on, guys. We got to, with all these stepfathers and things like that, and I'm not saying all stepfathers are bad. They're not all of them. But honey, this is happening a lot. And here's the investigation report right here. Okay, so here's what it says. I'm going to read it to you, okay? In the name and by authority of the state of Texas, before me, the undersigned assistant district attorney of Harris County, Texas, this day appeared the undersigned affiant who under oath says that he has good reason to believe and does believe that in Harris County, Texas, Darion Marquise Fence, hereafter styled the defendant heretofore on or about May 3rd, 2019. Now, they does say styled. That's what it says. So anyway, did then and there unlawfully, knowing that an official proceeding was pending, alter, destroy, and conceal a thing, namely a human corpse, with intent to impair its availability as evidence in in the investigation. Now let me read that again. Now, make sure I read this right. Darion Marquise Fence, hereafter styled the defendant, heretofore on or about May 3rd, did then and there unlawfully, knowing that an official proceeding was pending. Now, an official proceeding was pending, alter, destroy, and conceal a thing, namely a human corpse, with the intent to impair its availability as evidence in the investigation. All right, guys. Now here it says probable cause. Your affiant, Sergeant Mark Harbrook, is a police officer employed by the Houston Police Department Homicide Division. Your affiant has 29 years of experience with 17 years in the Homicide Division. Your affiant believes that Darion Vance, a black male with the date of birth of May 29, 1992, did on or about May 3rd, 2019, at 9850 South Kirkwood, a location in Harris County, commit the crime of tampering with evidence, namely a human corpse. Your affiant bases his belief on the following facts. Now, they're only charging him with tampering with evidence right now. So I'm trying to figure that part of it out. They're only charging him for tampering with evidence. And now maybe it could be because they do not have a body. But I don't know. We're going to see where this goes, okay? But on May 4th, 2019, the affiant was assigned to investigate a report of a missing, possibly kidnapped 4-year-old child, Maleah Davis. This affiant conducted a recorded interview with defendant who identified himself as Darion Vance with the date of birth May 29, 1992. The stepfather of the missing child, hereafter defendant. Your affiant verified the defendant's stated identity through law enforcement database. The defendant told his affiant that he lives at 9850 South Kirkwood, Harris County, Texas, with his girlfriend Brittany Bowens and 3 children. The defendant stated, and your affiant has verified via flight records that on Tuesday, April 30th, 2019, the defendant's girlfriend Bowens left the state via airplane and was set to return on May 3rd, 2019, leaving the defendant to care for the children. So, guys, she's been gone for quite some time. My God. This right here. Okay. It says here the defendant stated that on Friday, May 3rd, 2019, at around 7 p.m., he left his apartment at 9850 South Kirkwood with two children, namely the complainant and his 2-year-old child, KV, to pick up Bowens from the airport. Your affiant has verified with the biological father of the eldest child that the eldest child had already been picked up by the biological father and was no longer in the defendant's care. The defendant told his affiant that he was driving Bowens' silver Nissan Altima with the two children inside. The defendant said that he pulled over to check on the tire of the vehicle after he hit a bump and a blue pickup truck pulled up behind him. Now, the defendant then told his affiant that he was kidnapped by a group of Hispanic males in the blue pickup truck and received a blow to his head. The defendant said he did not ever again see the silver Nissan Altima he was driving. The defendant told his affiant that the suspects in the truck would stab him when his son KV cried out. The defendant showed this affiant light lacerations to his chest that he said were made by the kidnappers while he was in their pickup truck. Mm-hmm. See, that right there just didn't even make sense, you know? So anyway, they're going to steal his car and kidnap him too. Come on now. The defendant showed this affiant light lacerations to his chest that he said were made by the kidnappers while he was in their pickup truck. The defendant said he passed out and woke up Saturday evening. Now come on. At approximately 7 p.m. May 4th, 2019, an unknown location on Highway 6 near Sugar Land, Texas, with only his 2-year-old son, his 2-year child. Now look here, guys. That just does not make any sense. While he's not unconscious, the little 2-year-old is just sitting there. You know, kids like to wander off a lot. Now check this out now. He left May 3rd around 7 p.m. And now we're talking about Saturday evening, which was May 4th, 7 p.m. So you mean to tell me he's been knocked out on the highway all that time and no one saw him? That was a sign right there that he was lying. Okay, so the defendant stated he did not know where Maleah was. The defendant said he walked with his 2-year-old and they eventually got a ride from an unknown female to Methodist Sugar Land Hospital. There at 11:21 p.m. he made an outcry that Maleah Davis was missing. At 11:21 p.m. Okay, guys. Here's some more. This affiant has reviewed video surveillance footage from the porch of an apartment next to the defendant's apartment located at 9850 South Kirkwood, Harris County, Texas, and found it to be inconsistent with the defendant's statement. The footage shows at approximately 1:40 p.m. on Friday, May 3rd, 2019, a person this affiant recognizes as the defendant carrying out the defendant's apartment a large blue laundry basket with a large black trash bag inside. This affiant observed from the video that the basket appears heavy due to the stance the complainant uses when walking. The defendant walks away out of the camera view and then returns approximately 3 minutes later without the basket. This affiant was further observed from the surveillance footage that the defendant walks out of the apartment with cleaning supplies, including bleach. This affiant, along with Detective Sergeant Josh Horn, also assigned to the Homicide Division, whom affiant finds to be a credible and reliable person, have viewed the video, and after the defendant takes out the blue basket, the complainant is never again seen on camera leaving the apartment. At approximately 1840 hours, the time that corresponds to the defendant's statement that he left the apartment with two-year-old and Maleah. Here's the other part right here. Davis to go to the airport. The defendant is seen on camera leaving with only, and I'm gonna repeat this, guys. He's only seen leaving with the 2-year-old and not Maleah. The biological father of the eldest child, who is also the father of Maleah, has also verified that when he went to pick up his eldest child shortly prior to 7 p.m. on Friday, he asked to see Maleah, and the defendant would not allow him to see her. So, guys, first of all, why didn't the mother just leave the child with the biological father? That's the mistake that we make as women. We leaving our kids with the men who are not their biological fathers. The biological father should have their own children. If she was going to be going out of state that long, she should have had her child with the biological father. If he had the eldest child, he should have had Maleah too. Anyway, on Sunday, May 5th, this affiant spoke with Detective Nina Sharp of the Homicide Division, whom affiant finds to be credible and reliable person, or be a credible and a reliable person. Detective Sharp went to the apartment of the defendant and his girlfriend Brittany Bowens with their consent. Now, it says Detective Sharp has told this affiant that she observed drops of blood in the hallway leading to the bathroom of the apartment and on various surfaces of the bathroom from the apartment. Detective Sharp was present when crime scene investigations from the Houston Forensic Science Center sprayed a chemical regimen that reacts to blood in the hallway and bathroom of the apartment. Now, it says this regimen reacted to the presence of the blood, not visible to the unaided eye. It says, too, this affiant knows from his training and experience that this reagent reaction, Lord, God help me, reaction occurs when a person has attempted to clean up blood. Detective Sharp supervised the collection of samples from these visible and reagent only visible stains, which were tagged and analyzed by the Houston Forensic Science Center. During his interview, the defendant stated to your affiant that there should be no blood in the home and that no one was recently bleeding. You know that was a lie. This affiant has spoken with analyst Courtney Head of the Houston Forensic Science Center, who has reviewed the analysis of the presumptively positive blood samples from the swabs lifted in the apartment. And then it says analyst head, whom affiant believes to be credible and reliable person, and who is trained in the science of forensics DNA, has told this affiant that most of the samples are a mixture with a female contributor as the major component. The major component is consistent with DNA samples taken from Maleah Davis' toothbrush. Further testing also shows that the major component is consistent with being from a person who is the maternal offspring of Brittany Bowens. This affiant has reviewed the surveillance footage from outside of the emergency department of Sugar Land Methodist Hospital when the defendant arrived. This affiant found that the defendant pulled up to the hospital riding in the silver Nissan Altima. Now, this is the same vehicle that he claimed someone stole, right? He claimed that the Mexican guys had stole the vehicle. It says here, this affiant has shown this video uh, to Brittany Bowens, the girlfriend and owner of the vehicle, who told this affiant that the vehicle in the surveillance footage was her vehicle, and the same vehicle defendant claimed he had never seen again after his alleged abduction. Now, this affiant was present at the vehicle examination building of the Houston Forensic Science Center on Friday, May 10th, 2019, when the silver Nissan Altima was processed for evidence after it was located in Missouri City on May 9, 2019. This affiant noted a blue laundry basket similar in appearance to the blue laundry basket that the defendant carried out of the apartment in the trunk of the vehicle. And then it says this affiant observed when a trained certified canine handler, Janae Bickle, had two separate canine dogs trained to sniff the scent of a cadaver, walk around walk around a vehicle and other vehicles in the parking lot. Now it says both dogs, Remy and Coco, alerted in a manner of their training to the trunk of the vehicle. This affiant spoke with Janae Bickle, whom affiant finds to be a credible and reliable person, who stated to the defiant that Bickle knows, based on training the experience, that the dogs were responding to the scent of decomposition in the vehicle. Also located in the vehicle was a gas can. Brittany Bowens stated to your defiant that she did not recognize the can, and the can was not something she normally kept in the vehicle. This affiant further learned from Alicia Matthews of Child Protective Services that CPS has an open investigation concerning prior injuries to Maleah Davis. Your affiant also knows from the initial contact with the defendant that the defendant has been aware of the law enforcement investigation into the disappearance of Maleah Davis. So, guys, just listening to this whole, report, just reading the whole report, it's just, it's sad. It is sad. So we already pretty much know and can, just pretty much expect that, she's not going to turn up alive. I mean, it would be nice, and I mean that's what we would hope for. But according to this report, it doesn't sound good. It does not sound good. Um, Guys, we really have to get into a place to where we stop, um, you know, placing ourselves in these harmful relationships and dangerous situations. It's not good. It's just not good. My heart really, really, really goes out to this little baby right here. She was only 4 years old. 4 years old. And this monster of a man did something like this to her. It's horrible. Guys, y'all better listen to me. Listen. We have a lot of mental ill men out here in this world, and a lot of them need some help. A lot of them need, some of them may be in denial, and hey, it is what it is. A lot of them have mental issues. They do. And they need some help. They need professional help. So this person right here, what he's done, is very cruel. It's very cruel. And I just pray that justice is done. I mean, because there's no way in this world that This should have, should have happened. The mother had a responsibility to protect her child, and she failed. She failed because you've been gone since April 30th, and you leave your child in the hands of someone that you knew was abusing your child. That is unheard of. You're just as guilty as he is. I'm sorry. I am very sorry, but you are. You are. Now, if you didn't know, that's one thing. If you didn't know, that's one thing. But when you know, and then you still place your child in harm way, that's a problem. That's a big problem. So, guys, I just wanted to share that with you. It's really been bothering me. I'm really hoping and praying that they do find baby Maleah, Maleah Davis. She's only 4 years old, and she's been missing now for, quite some time. I want to say they put out the Amber Alert for her on May 6th. Uh, so, guys, I want you to please join my page. And it's right here. I'm just waiting for it to load. It's V.O.W. Okay, so I want you to get a good look at it. Here it is right here. V.O.W. V.O.W. Voices of Women 2019. You see that? Voices of Women 2019. Please make sure that you do join us. I also have a group as well. It's the same name, Voices of Women 2019. Let me see here, guys. Trying to find a little group. Here it is right here. Well, these are other groups that I'm a part of. But here it is. Okay, see here? So please make sure you join. Okay, I would love to have you join so that we can talk about the different types of abuse, so that we can also talk about ways to prevent abusive relationships. We want to also talk about how we can heal as women for those of us who have gone through past abuse. So, we want to basically be a group who are building each other up. We want to build each other up. We want to support each other, encourage each other. It's really important that we, if you know someone who's in an abusive relationship, encourage them to get out of that situation as quick as possible, because as you and I know, it never ends up good. It doesn't get any better. I know someone right now who's been in a relationship with someone who's verbally abusive and physically abusive, and they've been with that person for now, I want to say 20 years, and it's still the same thing. I mean, it's still the same situation. So, guys, please listen to me and listen to me well. If it's you who's in an abusive relationship, please get out of it. Get help. I know you may be thinking, well, that's easy for you to say because I don't have anywhere to go. Listen, when you're in an abusive situation, you just have to do what you have to do. When I was in an abusive relationship, I was tired. I was fed up. And what I did was I went to a women's shelter. Yep, that's right. I went to I had never, that was the most devastating moment for me because, I had to stay in a shelter. And yes, there was curfew. Yes, you did have chores. But when you want to get out of a bad situation, you do what you have to do. Plain and simple. Especially if it's going to protect you and your child or children. So, guys, if you're in a bad situation, you just have to do what you have to do to get out of it. It's better than you losing your life. It's better than your child losing their life. So please make sure you get out of that situation. I also want to take you to my YouTube page. Well, if you're watching this video, then you probably already found my YouTube page or YouTube channel. Okay, V.O.W. Voices of Women. Please make sure you look me up. These are some of the videos I've had from previously, exposing abusers, and narcissists. Do not protect abuse. Okay, and then this one here was a story that I shared on live. Someone that I knew, she was involved with a man, and he's a cop, and she was involved with him for 5 long years, and she just found out, uh, I want to say a month ago, that he had been married for a whole full year. He got married last year, and she didn't know anything about it, and he was still, they were still involved with each other, and he was just over to her house like 2 days prior to her finding out. So she was really devastated about that. This here is where I just did a little background editing to a picture or video. This is where I talk about a couple of the families who had lost their lives to domestic violence. I talked about that there. This here is just a little short video of my daughter and son singing. Another editing video. Most of these videos I talk about abuse, though. That's what I talk about because it's what I experienced in life, and it's what I was able to overcome. Here's a video I talk about helping abuse victims. It's really important that we do stand together, guys. This right here, I talk about warning signs. It's kind of, I try to throw a little humor into this video, but at the same time, it's very serious. You need to pay attention to warning signs because 9 times out of 10, there are signs shown early on before getting, deep into that relationship. There are always signs shown that that person is not right or that they're abusive. So pay attention to that, okay? Here, this is where I talk about exposing molesters and molestation. A lot of times when, before um, the molestation gets worse, it starts very simple. It starts by, inappropriate touching and so forth, and then it progresses from there. So what I want to encourage young girls and women to do is speak up against it. If you notice something that feels inappropriate, say something about it right away. Okay? Say so. Don't keep it a secret. Don't hide it. If you don't feel comfortable enough to talk to your mom or dad, young girls, if you're watching, go speak to someone else who's in authority or someone else that you feel that you can trust or talk to. That's really important because every time you when you keep it from the parents or whomever, then you're allowing that person to continue to physically abuse you, and it always gets worse. So you want to make sure, because it goes from touching to them having you touch them and you doing inappropriate things. So make sure that you immediately tell someone, okay? That's really important. This video here is a video talking about controlling men. Ladies, we have to be mindful of who we get involved with. Nowadays, you have men who are very controlling. You do not want to put yourself in a situation like that. Please, if you notice early on that the person has control issues, get out of it very quickly, because that's a sign that that person is abusive. They may, you just don't want to take any chances. Okay. This video, I talk about supporting victims of abuse again. That's really important. I want us all to come together and support one another. Help someone else out there who's going through abuse. Pay attention to people around you. A lot of times a person can be going through something. If you notice that they're quiet or they're not acting like themselves, talk to them. Talk to them. Try to ask questions and find out what's going on. Okay. Here's a video where I talk about the pain of alcohol and drugs in relationships. A lot of times when your partner is indulging in drugs and alcohol, it can escalate the issues in your relationship. It can make things even worse. I mean, alcohol and drugs, it tears families apart. And I know because my mother was an alcoholic, and we had a really uh, a hard time in our relationship. I loved her still as my mother, but you know, the alcohol just, it was just too much. And then let me see. I think that's about it, guys. I have quite a few videos, but oh, okay. So I do have some other videos. So guys, just check out my channel, okay? Please go to my channel and check it out. Please subscribe. You know, share it with your family and friends, please, and make sure you give me some thumbs up as well, okay? All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will keep you updated on young Maleah Davis. They do have several search groups out there in Texas. So I know today, or not today, this is a whole nother day, but I do know that they recently had like they had a search team out there looking for her on Sunday, and they had one out there. It was about 3 groups, I want to say, but they were out there on Saturday as well. So, guys, I will keep you posted on the latest updates of this story. I'm really praying that they do find little Maleah Davis. My hopes is that they find her alive, but if I can be at all honest, it doesn't look good at this point. So, again, thank you guys if you've already subscribed to my channel. If not, please make sure you do so. All right, you guys have an amazing night, and thank you. And I hope everyone had a beautiful Mother's Day. And stay tuned. My next video will be uploaded sometime this week. All right, good night.